Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about object-oriented programming. Alright, so object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm. By paradigm we mean style. Alright, style of writing programs. Alright, let me write the comment here. I'll say paradigm. Alright, it means the style, the way we write, program and organize them. So object-oriented programming is a style of writing program where we represent data as objects. All right, we model data around real life objects. And object-oriented programming is built around two major concepts: classes and objects. So we have a class and we have an object. All right, so we have classes, we have objects. So a class is a blueprint for creating objects. All right, a blueprint. And the object is what we call the instance of the class. Instance of the class. All right, so you can think of it as an architect trying to build a house. The sketch on the paper is the class, which lays down the blueprint for building the house. Then the actual house is the object, which is the instance of the class. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to the foundation, the fundamentals of object-oriented programming. So without wasting time, let's get started, and I'll show you the very first examples. All right, so let's create our class, and I'll call it car. So when you're creating classes, you want to make the first letter of the name of the class to be uppercase. Right, so we say class car, and in most cases the first thing you want to put inside your class is what we call a constructor, or as they call it in Python, an initializer. All right, so I'll say excuse me, so we do init. All right, and what does this initializer does? It allows us to initialize the attributes. All right, it allows us to specify the things that describe our object. So in our case, we want to have a car, and what are the things that describe it? Well, we want to have the make, we want to have the model, and let's add one more. We say we want to have the color. All right, now we can go into the body. Now this self represents whatever object we create based on this class. All right, so whatever instance of this class is represented by this self here. So we'll say self dot make should be equal to make, and self dot model should be equal to model. Then the last one is self dot color should be equal to color. All right, so now we have everything we need to define a class. So every class has two main types of data. The first one are what we call the attributes, which is what we've done already. Attributes and methods. All right, so attributes describes the object. Method tells us what the object can do. All right, I'll repeat it. Attributes describes the object. All right, assuming you have a human being, right, that we have a human being class. So we'll say the human being is either a man or a woman. Those are the attributes we are describing the human being. The human being is light in complexion. The human being is tall, is 6 foot tall or 5 foot. The human being is whatever nationality, right? Those are the things that describe the human being object. Then the methods tells us what the human being can do. The human being can run, the human being can eat, can talk, can make sound, and so many other things. So let's go ahead and create our object. All right, so I'll say car1. Car1 should be equal to car. All right, so remember we specified the attributes we want to give the car. So we're going to start with the make. So the make, I'm going to say it should be Lexus All right, and the model should be let's say an LX 600. Then the color should be matte black. I love matte black. All right, so now we have an object. If I go ahead now and print this out, so I'll just do print car1. And what do I see? You see a memory address, car object at so memory address. All right, now that's not what we want. We want a way to be able to print out, to describe, to show us what the object has. And we're going to be using methods for that. All right, so like I said, method describes what the object can do, right? So I'm going to say we want to start the car, so I'll say dev start. All right, start and then we'll pass self to it. So we are saying whatever object we call the method on, implement for that object. So self, then we come under self, we say print I'll say self dot let me say self dot model is starting. I'll put it in an F string. Is starting. All right, I'll put D. Good. So now we can also, I can now remove this print. Then I'll say car1 dot start. Okay, I'll say car1 dot start. So it's a method. Remember, a method is just a function inside the class. So we run the program and now you see the LX600 is starting. All right, so we say self.model, and remember the model of our car is LX600, so it says the LX600 is starting. Now if I create another car, all right, let me put it up here. So I'll say car2, you know what, let me just duplicate this. So I'll say car2 should be equal to Mercedes, and it should be AMG G63. All right, I also leave it matte black. Also, should I say matte gray? All right, and now I can call the start object on car2 dot start. All right, and now when you run the program, you get the AMG G63 is starting. So we have two objects, and when we call the start, each one knows which one to print. All right, so we can also do more things, like we can accelerate. So I'll just create a method to accelerate. I'll say def accelerate. All right, so once to accelerate, I'll say self comma let's talk about the speed. So I'll say speed. All right, then I'll say self dot speed. Oh no, I don't have speed, so I'll just say okay, there's no need to specify speed since I did not define speed. All right, so I'll just say print the car is speeding up. The self dot model is speeding up. All right, so we can also stop. So I say def stop, and I'll pass self to it. So say print f string the self dot model is stopping, or it's coming to a stop. Let's just leave it that it's stopping. So now we can now call the methods on each of the car. So I'll say car1 dot accelerate. All right, and of course it's a method. Then car1 dot stop. Okay, so now when we run the program, you see the LX600 is starting, the LX600 is speeding up, the LX600 is stopping. All right, so we've created a class and now we have objects. So when it comes to defining the attributes of a class, we can also specify a default value. All right, so take for instance, I want to create a default color. Okay, I'll just say the color should be blue. All right, I'll say the color should be blue. So now whenever we create an object and we do not specify the color, then there is no problem. All right, then there's no problem. So first of all, before I go, let me create one more method that will introduce the car. So I'll say def intro, all right, self. So I'll print f string, my car is a self, it's a self dot color, self dot make, self dot model. All right, so now we can introduce the cars. So before I go ahead, I'll just let me introduce car1. So I'll say c1 dot intro. All right, and now when you run the program, what do you get? You say my car is a matte black Lexus LX600. All right, it's a matte black Lexus LX600. So what happens if I did not specify a color? So I will remove the matte black from it. I will not specify the color. So when I run the program again, you see my car is a blue Lexus LX600. Why? Because I made the blue here to be a default value. All right, so we can also have what's it called? We can also have a what we call class attributes. All right, so we can have what we call class attributes. Remember, in this case, the make of each car is different, right? Because we specified for each object. For car1 we have Lexus for the make, for car2 we have Mercedes, for car1 we have LX600 for the model, for car2 we have the AMG G63 for the model. So now we want to create an attribute that is accessible to all of them. And what is that attribute? The number of wheels, right? Every car has 4 wheels. So I'll say the wheels should be equal to 4. All right, so we put it on the class level. So now when I say car2 dot wheels, all right, car2 dot wheels. Okay, I need to put it inside the print method. I do print car2 dot wheels. So you see it has 4 wheels. All right, and if we do the same thing with car1, car1 also has 4 wheels because wheels is defined on the class level. Okay, so that's all for this video. Let me now go ahead and show you an example that I've created, which you probably saw in the beginning of the video. All right, so I wrote a bank account, a program to simulate a bank account. Right, now cut this and bring it to the class file. So Command V. So what do we have here? We have a bank account class, right? Bank. So we have a bank. I call it my bank. All right, we can create as many objects we want, as many users of this bank as we want, but the bank definitely has one name. So I created the bank name to be a class attribute, which means it is available to all of them. All right, so of course we have our initializer, our init. In some programming languages we call it a constructor. So we have the initializer, and it takes 2 attributes that defines the object, which is the owner of the account and the balance of the account. So the first method, which describes what the object can do. Remember the definition in the beginning. Attributes describes the object. Methods tells us what the object can do. So the first method is deposits. So we are depositing an amount. So it says self.balance, whatever the balance of this object is, add the amount they want to deposit to it. So it will say the owner has deposited so amount and now the balance is balance. Then if you want to withdraw, it checks if you have sufficient funds. If you don't, then you cannot withdraw. But if you do, then you go ahead and withdraw, and then we subtract the amount you're trying to withdraw from the balance. Excuse me. So we can also check the balance of the account, and we can transfer to another account, which is another object. All right, so let's run our program and see. Before we run it, I'll just clear the terminal. So when I run the program this time, so you see, we created two objects based on the bank account class. So the first one is account 1, the second one is account 2. Right, so we check balance, and we deposited 500 naira to the first account. All right, and we withdraw 200. So now we're going to have 1,300 balance left. Okay, we created the account with 1,000 naira. We deposited 500, we withdrew 200, and now we have 1,300 balance left. So account 2 was created with 500 naira. Right? Account 2 was created with 500 naira. Then we transferred 300 naira to account 2 from account 1. So now what happens? Account 1, which is Ade's account, will now have 1,000 naira left. And account 2, which is Faith's account, now has 800 naira because we have 300 naira added to it. So this is what we have in the output. All right, we can also modify this. So instead of transferring 300, let's say we want to transfer 700. All right, so we transfer 700 from it. So now Faith has 1002, and Ade is left with 600. So that's all for this video. If you find it helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.